I'm Dale Smith for Looney Politics, and it's election season. And in the first week, we had the Maclean's debate. This is the one that the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, chose not to attend, and it was in order to be campaigning in Alberta instead. Why Alberta? There's a couple of different reasons. One of them is that he wants to show the flag there and put an end to the narrative that he hates Alberta and that he has this animus against them and so on. So he's made a point, both with his leadership and in the last election campaign, to make a very early stop in Alberta so that he can, try and bury some of those hard feelings. The other reason is because he thinks he can pick up a seat in Edmonton Strathcona. That was an NDP seat for a number of years, but with that MP retiring, there's an opening there for the Liberals. Provincially, the entire city went NDP, and there's enough crossover in voters between the federal Liberals and the provincial NDP that Trudeau thinks he's got a shot there. So it was important for him to be there first off, so that he can, try and let Albertans know that, he is trying to do something for the economy there as well. Regarding the rest of the debate, it was our chance to kind of see the other three leaders kind of shine on their own without needing to contrast themselves against the Prime Minister. What I always look for in these kinds of situations is how well any of these leaders can think on their feet. And unfortunately, we really didn't get too much of a sense of that. For Elizabeth May, talking on her feet all the time is second nature to her. So we really didn't need to see that from her. What we wanted to see was whether she could remain coherent when talking on her feet. And we didn't always get that. She has an answer for everything, but that answer isn't necessarily coherent or logical. And that's one of the things that, again, seemed to happen during the debate, is that even though she could hold her own without a script, not everything that she said was worthwhile. For Jagmeet Singh, he was very scripted for most of the evening, and always referred to this notion that I was just talking to a person about this issue. So he tried to always make it relatable to their slogan about being in it for you. Where Singh did start to deviate was when he started getting upset or flustered at a question or in a back and forth exchange. And those were places where he would try and throw in some kind of a slogan like, you're just meeting with lobbyists and so on and so on. But we didn't get a lot of really good sound bites of him just thinking on his feet, and that's a weakness for him. For Andrew Scheer, the night was also fairly scripted, and there were a lot of talking points that he had that he felt he needed to get in, and he would try and wedge them in, even in places where it wasn't really appropriate. When he didn't want to really answer a question, he would always pivot to attacking Trudeau instead, which doesn't tell us a lot about what he is about or his program is. And that is to his detriment. We also saw a complete meltdown on Scheer's part during the segment on Indigenous rights. On the question of the bill on the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, Scheer started going into trying to defend the party's position in opposing it, and started to basically flounder in his language around Indigenous communities holding projects hostage. And that really just kind of set things spiraling out of control on the stage. And it kind of gave an indication of his ability to, or inability as it is, to hold his own in a debate on a contentious issue like that. It's one of those things where he can't really pivot to attacking Trudeau because it's about his party's record on that file. So if he wasn't able to acquit himself there, it makes us wonder what else he's not going to be able to acquit himself with when the pressure's on and he needs to think on his feet. All in all, I don't know that there were really any winners in this debate, and we're kind of left wondering once again, whether any of these leaders can think on their feet and hold their own when they're in an uncontrolled situation. For Looney Politics, I'm Dale Smith.